want to field this question to everyone. So you had talked about Kathy needs to get a movie out, and it needs to be critically acclaimed and loved by the fan base, and then Star Wars is back. So a question to both of you guys. What is that Star Wars movie, or is it a trilogy? And who is directing it? What's the flavor?
Kyle, you start that one.
I do think it has to be a trilogy. I think Star Wars is known as like the trilogy franchise in a sense, and I think they have to stick with that. Also, if they don't do spin-off movies anymore, I'm totally fine with that. But I think it would be announcement as a trilogy, and we see that it's going to become
I have a question.
The Stephen Knight movie. At least he's writing it. I forget who the director is. It's I think it's like a documentary director. Remember off the top of my head.
I got it right here. Give me 2 seconds. I
think it's gonna wind up being that project. I don't see us coming around and suddenly it's like, oh, turns out it's J.D. Dillard. Like I don't like he was announced 2017 or whatever. I don't think we're gonna suddenly loop around.
Shreem. I'm not even gonna attempt Shreem's last name. It's difficult. I apologize for the butcher. I'm not even gonna attempt. But Shreem is planning to be the director of this film that this writer's room is making.
And I
will look up what he has done.
Yeah, I would imagine it's gonna be that project because.
Oh, it's a woman.
Project. Yeah, I thought it might have been a female. Again, I just am unfamiliar with her.
I didn't know. Shreem is a woman who has produced a lot. Let's see. Directing credits here. Whoops. I only want directing credits. Worked on Miss Marvel. And then a lot of things it looks like overseas. Just different movies. Some look like documentaries, some do not. But it looks like first kind of big project was a show called Fundamental, a TV miniseries, and then as well as Miss Marvel.
Okay.
So, and she's won 2 Oscars.
To her, of course, but such a random choice, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Marvel showed us that. Yes, is there nerves that it's a random choice? Yes. But maybe they're like, maybe it's a James Gunn situation and she goes on to absolutely obliterate it and knock it out of the park. The fact that it's just a woman alone, I'm like, all right, sounds amazing. Let's get a woman Star Wars in here. I've never seen that. That sounds phenomenal. That's what made Patty Jenkins' movie not only so exciting because she was so passionate about it, but that it was just a different take. But, so let's see what the kid has.
What about you, Al?
Doing some eyebrow thing. I think giving her an opportunity is a good move. I might get some hate. I do think that if you really, really, really want to wow fans, you let Rian Johnson make his trilogy, and you let him do it. I'm telling you. You take episode 8 out of it, okay? Take it out for a second. He's only made freaking phenomenal movies. If you take episode 8 out, which is divisive, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, but if you take that out, I have never seen him make a bad movie. And he is a phenomenal writer. Let him go 1,000 years in the future, 1,000 years in the past, and do whatever the heck he wants to do, and he would make a phenomenal choice. The other director I think would be great to come in is I would say Denis Villeneuve. It's a pipe dream. He has said he doesn't want to do it. Taking that out of the equation, because he would be my top choice after Dune, but taking him out, I think you get Ryan Coogler to write and direct a Star Wars movie. He can bring Michael B. Jordan. He doesn't have to bring Michael B. Jordan. Do whatever the heck he wants to do, but that sounds freaking phenomenal to me. I think all of those would be great choices to get back into it. If Kathy steps down, I think Dave Filoni's the smartest choice. I don't think you let Jon Favreau do it too. I don't think Jon Favreau would want to do it. I think John would prefer to be like, I'm going to do this, because I think at some point he's not going to want to do Mando anymore. He's going to want to do other things. But that would be another great option, is if they say, all right, Dave Filoni is taking head of Lucasfilm. The first movie we got is going to be a movie written and directed by Jon Favreau. That alone, every Star Wars fan in the galaxy would be like, yep, that's what I wanted. There we go. This is great. Love it. Unless season 3 of Mando sucks, everybody will say he was always garbage. But anyway. What do you think, Tanner?
It's funny that you brought this one up. Olivia was we were actually discussing like things that we wanted out of Star Wars and various stories and whatnot, and she brought up an excellent point with something like Clone Wars. Because after we had done our watch through, I still love, and I know I'm going to get some hate after I say this from some people. I adore Clone Wars, and I absolutely think it's incredible. I was surprised when we went through our watch through and I was going on the whole episodes I liked versus disliked. Clone Wars doesn't actually have as good, for as lauded as that show is, it does not have an amazing batting average. There are some very high highs and very low lows in that show. But
I would agree.
Something that is,
except the Darksaber and the Mandalorians. Just poking fun at Kyle here.
So, what's amazing to me about that, though, is the ending of the Clone Wars was so incredible. The fact that they were able to land that
so
and then make such an incredible ending, even though you've got all of those like middling episodes that exist in it. The fact that they were able to make an incredible ending to it, it is now Clone Wars will forever be talked about as an amazing show because of it as well. Compare that to something like Game of Thrones, where you've got 5 to 6 seasons of great show and then garbage at the end, and now nobody wants to touch the original show because of it. Now it's so important.
Yeah, now the whole show is horrible.
I think that just illustrates the point, though, of how important it is to have a good ending to a show. I would argue that is even more important than like how your middle and even beginning can go.
I would agree.
I think between Lost, Game of Thrones, Dexter, all of those have gone to show us these like lauded shows that everybody loved that had garbage endings are now talked about in these like venomous ways. So something like Mando needs that. Otherwise, to that point of like people are gonna be like, oh, Favreau was garbage because of it. I've circled around a lot, but to I guess what my point that of movie and director that I'd like to bring in. He's talked about a lot, but oh man, I would love to get Craig Mazin in on Star Wars. Oh my God, would I love for him to write a script, either show or movie. I think that would just be so incredible. Between his work on Chernobyl and The Last of Us, I'm like, please let him.
That would be cool.
Let him get his hands on it. The character drama alone that we've seen in The Last of Us is like, man. But with him being so like ingrained in HBO, that's a pipe dream. I don't think that one's happening. But yeah.
Side note, can I have a side note real quick, Tam Man? It's crazy that Craig wrote Scary Movie 3, 4, and Superhero Movie, and then wrote other just bad things, and then all of a sudden made he made The Huntsman, The Winter's War, not good, and then he was like, all right, I'm over this. Writes Chernobyl, 5 episodes of Chernobyl, and then writes the entire Last of Us. Insane. And then Mythic Quest, which is another show he helped write for, and apparently that's a pretty good show.
Superhero movies,
so.
great.
No, you're totally right. I was talking.
Oh my God.
I was looking up his work, and I was like, man, there's his top 2, Chernobyl.
Wild.
Like, Scary Movie. What is going on here? But anyways,
It's wild.
I think what would do a good job of roping in all Star Wars fans, and being critically acclaimed, exactly like you're talking about, 1,000 years in the future. 1,000 years in the past. Get someone that's got a good track record to write it, and then get a solid director to come in. Not too many fingers in the pie.
And let me add something again. Yeah, let them make their thing is what I was going to say. Not only bring them in who are good, let them do their thing. We'll never know if Colin Trevorrow would have made a great movie. He has made I think a fine Jurassic World movie and a couple of like indie movies. He made some bad Jurassic World movies, but I'll never know. I would have rather known that than JJ coming in and just half taking his stuff, half keeping his whatever Chris Terrio wants to write, and it just, not good. But I'm curious, real quick.